the road to autonomous vehicles, evolving infrastructure to support AVs. Why autonomous vehicles? Recent announcements of robotaxis and self-driving trucks tend to skip over the reasons for why such vehicles will be valuable to consumers and businesses. The standard assumption is because we can, in reference to the rapid evolution of computing power and artificial intelligence. While these are clearly the primary enabling factors on the technology side of the equation, it's important to consider the social and economic forces that are leading towards a world where vehicles operate without humans holding a steering wheel. Distracted driving. More and more accidents are the result of drivers looking at their smartphones instead of the road. According to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, distraction is a major cause of crashes, currently at 29%. This trend is growing at an alarming rate with no signs of abating, in particular with younger drivers who are accustomed to having their phones in hand all of the time. Impaired driving. According to the Centers for Disease Control, another 30% of crashes are caused by drivers who are operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, cannabis, or illegal drugs. And with cannabis becoming more readily available in more forms of ingestion in many states that have legalized it, the rates of impairment are increasing. Gen Z isn't into driving. More and more, teenagers are less likely to seek a driver's license, in favor of using their smartphones and social media to interact with their peers. Other advances such as ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft contribute to the decline in licensing rates and Gen Z's lowered preferences for driving themselves. Commercial driver shortage. According to the American Trucking Association, the industry is struggling to attract new drivers. And with the average age of a truck driver in the United States being 46, many will retire during the coming years. In particular due to the ever-increasing dominance of e-commerce, which requires nationwide, regional, and last-mile deliveries, it's estimated that well over 1 million new drivers will be needed in the next decade. For these reasons and others, evolving towards fully autonomous operation will solve the many challenges facing personal and commercial road transportation. How electric leads to autonomous. As seen by various AVs already announced or in active use, fully electric makes the most sense for autonomous operation. One big advantage is not having to deal with pouring liquid fuel into a tank. An AV can charge wirelessly simply by pulling over a charging pad. Another reason relates to the very precise control that electric motors provide, since they react instantaneously and don't require mechanical drivetrains which inherently induce variable lag. In addition, electric vehicles can have individual motors for front and back axles, or one for each wheel, thus further increasing reactive control. Beginning with Tesla and now being adopted by the majority of EV manufacturers, is the evolution towards software-defined vehicles. Coupled with onboard cellular transceivers, vehicles that are SDV-based can interact with AI platforms running in the cloud, receive frequent updates, and utilize data inputs from external sources. While strictly speaking, SDV doesn't dictate that a vehicle be fully electric when combined with the other core attributes of EVs mentioned earlier, it provides the basis for ever-increasing levels of advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS, on the path towards fully autonomous operation. What infrastructure will provide? If one looks at aviation, for an example, the early days of airplanes were pilot-dominated. Aircraft were piston-driven, moved relatively slowly, and carried few people. Then, with the rise of large jets that travel at high speeds carrying large numbers of passengers, it became necessary to move some elements of routing into a logistics system that provides external inputs to pilots. Thus, air traffic control was established and became the crucial network that ensures safe flight operations around the world. While not a perfect comparison, there are similarities in what infrastructure can do to support autonomous land vehicle operation to ensure safe, efficient, and cost-effective outcomes. Key elements of so-called AV infrastructure can include consistent 5G cellular coverage to allow vehicles to continually communicate with systems not on board, mesh networking that fills in gaps between cell towers along highways, roadside units that have sensors to monitor micro-weather and road conditions, synchronization of vehicles with charging systems and microgrids, management of vehicle-to-infrastructure and vehicle-to-vehicle communications, ultra-precise ad hoc geofencing, which designates road work zones, special events, and other topical issues, automatic give way for approaching emergency vehicles, sites of accidents, and other features based on interaction with the environments that the vehicles are moving through. Still to be answered are questions about which organizations will develop and own the elements of AV infrastructure, what standards and regulatory frameworks need to be established for everything to function smoothly, and the impacts on parking, power distribution, and eventually the design of cities themselves. When will it all come together? As discussed in this video, electric is not the end game, but the first major step towards fully autonomous vehicles. A tremendous collective effort is moving EV technology ahead rapidly, not merely as a new form of propulsion, but as an evolution of mobility into the modern day. The status quo is based on essentially the same liquid-fueled technology that was invented well over 100 years ago, which has reached a pinnacle of refinement. Just as with aviation, telecommunications, entertainment, and other ecosystems that have evolved dramatically, electric and autonomous vehicles represent a quantum leap forward. The results of these innovations will include improved road safety for both vehicle occupants and pedestrians, dramatically increased efficiency for commercial trucking and last-mile deliveries, lower overall transportation costs, and many other benefits that will seem obvious in the years to come.